Hi again, everybody. Welcome to Inside Golf. I'm Harry Donahue. Coming up on today's show, we're going to catch up with the folks at the First Tee program of Philadelphia. See how the program is running, how many kids are involved, and what kind of a season they can expect this year. And we'll talk to the co-chairman of the Villanova University Chemistry Department. He loves the game of golf. And during the whole lockdown, took to social media. And because of his love for the game of golf, was involved in a daily quiz or two about you name the course. We'll also have our teed off panel. They'll be talking about a controversy that has surfaced involving a World Golf Hall of Famer. That's next on Inside Golf.
Inside Golf is presented by Destination Montco Golf. 54 courses, 300,000 yards. Check them out at montcogolf.com. By the First Tee of Philadelphia. The First Tee helps young men and women become better golfers, but most important, better people. Get involved. Visit thefirstteephiladelphia.org. By the Golf Association of Philadelphia, GAP, celebrating amateur golf since 1897. By Jersey Man Magazine, it's a Jersey way of life. And by Philly Man Magazine, bringing it to Broad Street. By the Haverford Trust Company. Quality is in our DNA. And by Inside Golf's partner since 1998, the Philadelphia Section PGA. Experts in the game and business of golf. Take time to thank your local PGA golf professional.
Golf has always provided the health benefits of fresh air, focus, and fun. Now let's apply social distancing to the game we love.
Stay home if sick and always stay 6 feet apart and avoid large gatherings on the course.
Try thumbs ups or fist pumps, not handshakes or fist bumps.
When in doubt, just don't touch and wash your hands.
Mark your ball clearly and wear a cloth facial covering when taking a lesson.
Finally, respect your fellow golfers and let's be grateful for every swing.
Welcome back. Inside Golf now continues. The First Tee program of Philadelphia has been a longtime partner of Inside Golf, and we are really pleased to have back with us the executive director of the First Tee of Philadelphia. That would be Bill Heidman V, and the director of operations for the First Tee of Philadelphia, Rebecca Obamano. Rebecca, Bill, how you doing this morning?
We're doing great, Harry.
Always
Great.
good to see you.
Yeah.
Hi, Rebecca. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. First question, though, is how is the First Tee program of Philadelphia doing, guys? Billy, why don't you start us off?
Well, these are certainly trying times, but it's been a great opportunity for us to be creative, to think out of the box, and do things to meet the needs of our kids that have been at home. Rebecca will have more to talk about our programming, but it's been a great opportunity for us to connect with kids. They've been at home in self-quarantine, and to connect with them virtually in this new world has been a really good opportunity. And for organizations, you have to evolve. And I think when you're faced with challenges, you figure out how do you adapt, overcome. And we look at this as an opportunity for us to grow as an organization, become stronger. And at the same time, we're able to connect with kids that we might not have connected had everything been in the normal world in the past. So we're connecting with some kids that have been sitting at home, and their parents hear about what we're doing through social media, and they give us a try. And we've been able to connect with many new kids. So that's been a great opportunity.
Yeah, and the weather, it wasn't a great spring to get outside and play golf had you been able to. So I'm sure the kids are pent up in more ways than one. Rebecca, Billy kind of put the ball on the tee for you to hit right down the middle of the fairway, saying you've been trying to adapt with your events and your schedule. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so it's been fun. We have gone live Monday through Saturday for fitness. So we've asked our students and parents to join us on Fitness Live. So we run them through a fitness routine. Especially even being at home, we want to make sure that they're staying active. And then every day, again, Monday through Saturday at 3:00, we give them a golf tip for the day. So we focus on, sometimes it's something new. So we're teaching them how to juggle the golf ball on the club, or how to practice your full swing inside, without breaking anything. And then also we've introduced some classes. So just like a regular Zoom, we have our students join us for Zoom classes. And again, we're running them through a regular first tee class, which includes fitness. It has a life skill discussion. So, especially right now, we've been talking about what things have been challenging for them, what things have been, what things are they grateful for right now. So we're trying to, be there for every aspect. So not just the golf, not just the fitness and exercise, but also about, listening to them about what's going on and how they are coping with Zoom all day, being on classes, on your computer all day. As many of our students love being on the computer and love technology, I think the aspect of, having the technology at their fingertips for school is a little bit different for them. So, we've had a lot of fun. We did a putting madness challenge, much like a bracket challenge. So the students were on a Zoom call and we watched them putt, six putts in a row, how many they could get, after 6 shots. And, it started with a rock, paper, scissors to see who went first. So it's been fun and it's been challenging, but it's been a good challenge. And like Bill mentioned, we definitely have had more students join during this time that would not have joined before, or some students who we haven't seen in a couple of years, they've come back and been a little bit more engaged. So yeah, it's been fun, and we're looking forward to getting them back out in the golf course in a little bit of a different capacity.
I don't want to pin you down on an exact number, but give us an idea how many kids are enrolled in the First Tee program of Philadelphia right now.
So we have about 1,500 students that are in our program on an active basis. During this time, we probably had a little over 200 being extremely active. I do think that there is still, even though everyone's at home, there is still a lot going on. And I think that, requiring them to do some golf online is a little bit different for some people. So.
Gotcha. Billy, we have about a minute. We were up, I guess, in the fall at John F. Byrne in the Northeast, and I know you have in East Falls, Walnut Lane. People were swinging away. I have to assume once everybody got the green light to go out and play golf. How's it been?
Harry, it couldn't be any better. It has been absolutely crazy with demand for golf, I think, and across the board in general. But at Walnut Lane, it's been in the greatest conditions we've had in recent years. We're really proud of our staff. They've been working really hard, and the players have had just a great time. And we've almost been at 100% capacity, and that's tee times from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. And John Byrne, which was going to close October 31st, was just out there on Sunday playing, and it's just so great that we're able to keep it going. We're starting to make some really good improvements. The local community and our customers are extremely happy. So I encourage everybody to come out, play our golf courses, get outside. It's a great place to socially distance and be safe. We do have some protocols in place, but everybody is abiding by everything, and we're just having a great time seeing everybody outside having fun.
Yeah, absolutely. 2 great places to play golf for people in Philadelphia and the far Northeast at John F. Byrne, and also East Falls with my old buddies over there, that little group, that rat pack that you have that's been around forever. I hope they're doing well, and glad to be back on the golf course at Walnut Lane. Billy, Rebecca, always great seeing you. We'll catch up periodically right here on Inside Golf. Have a great season.
Thanks, Harry.
Thank you.
Stay with us. Coming up next, we'll meet a gentleman who is a chemistry professor by day, but in his spare time loves to look at the history of golf course architecture. So much so that during the lockdown, he took to social media, sort of played a game of, can you name the course? That's next on Inside Golf. I'm sure you had a lot of other things. Welcome back to Inside Golf. You know, a lot of people made adjustments in their lifestyle during the lockdown, but one fellow here in the Philadelphia area took a break from his normal day job as a chemistry professor at Villanova to go to his Twitter account and show people various golf course pictures and tried for them to guess which courses he was talking about.
Our guest is Joe Bausch. Joe has been on the show before. I believe we caught up with Joe at St. David's with the legendary Pete Trenum a while back. But today we're talking to Joe, who is assistant chair and assistant professor of chemistry at Villanova University. That's sort of his day job. But he's here today to talk about his love of golf course architecture, its history, and what he has done during the lockdown to sort of keep interest in people and golf, especially courses maybe that they've played, never had a chance to play, by way of his Twitter account. So Joe, welcome back to Inside Golf. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. How are you?
Good, I'm fine, Harry. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Joe, let's talk a little bit about what you've been doing over the past few weeks on your Twitter account in terms of showing some courses, photographs that you have taken, most of them, I think, of courses maybe not that familiar with Philadelphia area golfers. Some of them are, some of them aren't. What gave you the idea, and what kind of a feedback reaction did you get from those who follow you on Twitter?
I think, like most of us, Harry, we are just looking for ways to pass the time during this pandemic. And as you know, I do a lot of photography of golf courses and do a lot of work on history on golf courses. And I thought it would be interesting to do a segment on Twitter where it was basically guess the golf hole and the golf course in the Golf Association of Philadelphia. So I just started posting a photo of a hole and then asking my Twitter followers, can they recognize that hole and the golf course? And sometimes I chose rather famous places and maybe more obscure photos. Other times chose less common golf courses and maybe shining some light on some places that don't usually get so much light.
And in terms of history, a lot of what you share with people, asking them to name the course, were just drawings, correct? Of courses
Yes.
in their infantile status, shall we say.
Yeah, for instance, one very fascinating one is the original drawing of Gulf Mills Golf Club, a 1916 drawing that I have a copy of, and put that on Twitter. And it was a topo map. And so it took a little while for some of the people to get it, but it was educational for them as well to see how that golf course was laid out in terms of the topography of the land.
Also, a couple days there that I was following, you put out more than one photograph. So you had like a morning session and an afternoon session.
Yes, it sometimes we did 3 or 4 sort of holes or maps in a day. And there was a couple of times when my day job got me very busy. And if I didn't have something posted by noon or 1 o'clock, some of my Twitter followers were wondering where I was.
I'm sure you had a lot of other things to keep you busy. Was there any that you totally stumped the field? Nobody came up with the correct answer as to what hole you were showing?
I don't think so. I was amazed
Wow.
by I have maybe 800, 900 Twitter followers and probably increased by about 300 when I started this series. And there's a whole lot of people out there that play just as many golf courses as I do. And so it was basically impossible to stump the field.
Joe, let me ask you this question. As I mentioned in the introduction, you have become sort of a student of golf course architecture. And you told me that actually began back in the mid-90s. How did it all start?
Yeah, really, back in about I think it was about 2007, 2008 is where it began for me. I got interested. I was a decent golfer at one point in my life, played golf in college for 2 years at Evansville. And eventually I moved away from tournament golf and just really enjoying golf. And one day I went out and played Innisgrown, which was at that point a public golf course. And I was just fascinated by the place. It had 2 or 3 holes that I'd never seen anything like before. For instance, the original 16th hole there, very polarizing golf hole. Seems as though people love it or hate it. I loved it from the minute I saw it because I'd never seen anything like it before. And that's where my love of architecture began. And from there, I asked to be on the Golf Club Atlas website. And wow, whatever, it's 12, 13 years later, and here we are.
Innisgrown, notably, is one of Gil Hans's early golf course designs in the Philadelphia area. Have you had a chance to catch up with Gil and talk to him about it?
I have, and he knows how much I love that golf course. It's really nice to see that the township owns it now. And I was just out there probably about 3 weeks ago, probably real early on when golf was allowed to be played again, probably like the second day when the governor said we could go play golf again. I went out there to see that it was doing as well as ever, so well that they didn't have enough carts, right? And so people who had an afternoon tee time were waiting around until carts came in, right? Because everybody had to be at that point one player to a cart.
I am doing my little bit of research for this interview with you, Joe. I came across a topic that Nova Scotia, for some reason, it's one of your favorite places to play the game of golf. Why is that?
I made a trip up there with my wife and my friend with the Cobbs Creek Project, Mike Serba. I think this was in June of 2016. The second of the two courses up there had opened up. Cabot Links was the original, then Cabot Cliffs had just opened up, and it made for a nice trip up there. I encourage people to do that, right? It's a public golf course, the facility, the two courses there. It's a beautiful drive. My wife and I, drove up there over a 3-day period, and there's a lot of good golf in Nova Scotia, right? And you don't have to be a member of a club to play there.
Well, that's great to hear, and we'll look forward to some photographs of your next trip up there as you continue to kind of share with us some of the beautiful spots where you have played and been to, whether it's Nova Scotia or just Innisgrown, somewhere in our own backyard. Joe, great to see you again. Thanks for keeping everybody involved a little bit during this pandemic, and hopefully it'll be back to normal so that we can get out there and not just see photographs, but play some of those courses that you described. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Harry.
All right, stay with us. Next up is Teed Off, and the panel looks at the recent controversy involving a World Golf Hall of Famer and the Corn Ferry Tour.
He's probably motivated by the desire to get back to competition.
And welcome back. Inside Golf now continues with our Teed Off panel. We are virtual again with Joe Logan of MyPhillyGolf.com. Oscar Mestre is the Vice President of the Golf Association of Philadelphia and a member at Overbrook. And from the Philadelphia section of the PGA, Director of Communications, Matt Fry. Matt, coming up in a couple weeks, the Corn Ferry Tour, which is sort of like a step below the PGA Tour. Guys would rather play on the PGA Tour, of course, but they don't have that opportunity as yet. But they're going to have an event. It's going to be played at the Valley Course at the TPC Sawgrass. And among those who have entered so far, at least, is, a World Golf Hall of Famer by the name of Vijay Singh, multiple majors winner. And he's caught a lot of heat, Matt. Now, he lives down there in Ponte Vedra. He's played there a lot of times. And like everybody else, I guess he wants to hone his game a little bit. But he's doing it maybe at the expense of somebody who needs that tournament a little bit more than Vijay. Your thoughts?
Yeah, that's a very interesting situation. He's certainly, from what I understand, not breaking any rules.
Right.
But however, it's an unethical decision in my estimation. He obviously wants to remain competitive, and that's good. But to take up a spot on the Corn Ferry Tour is not the best look. And for a professional athlete in this day and age to make that type of decision with branding and everything, it's very surprising. If I were Vijay, I'd probably give my decision a second guess.
Yeah, he's getting a lot of help from people over a second guess, most of which are against his participation. Joe, here's a guy, I mentioned he's won multiple majors. He's also won, I think, $70 million
in earnings on his span on the PGA Tour. He's now a member of the Tour Champions. What do you think? What motivated him for this?
Well, Matt called it unethical. I wouldn't call it unethical, but I would call it a jerk move of the highest order.
That's worse.
He's bigfooting some guy. I saw another guy on the Corn Ferry Tour was complaining, that he's displacing some guy who may be stocking shelves at the grocery store next week because he's not in the field and doesn't have any money. Meanwhile, Vijay lives in a beachfront multi-million-dollar mansion. And he lives, if you ever go down there, you see him, he's on the range all the time. That's where he practices all day, every day. And he certainly is within his rights to do so. He's earned it, but it's not a good look. And but what I would say about Vijay is I don't think he cares whether it's a good look or not. He's going to do what's good for Vijay.
The other thing is, Oscar, you remember when Annika Sorenstam played at Colonial and, kind of risk everything almost to go out there and compete with the guys on the PGA Tour. And there were some people who didn't think she should have been there. You know who one of them was? Vijay Singh. So almost like it's, coming back to haunt him a little bit with his participation in this event. It is PGA, but it's not the PGA Tour.
Yeah, I think it's the old rule of unintended consequences. He's probably motivated by the desire to get back to competition and hone his skills, but the optics of it are very negative, right?
Right.
And he doesn't need the money. He's got other ways to practice. He doesn't lack for access to practice facilities or events down the line. So, he has had a long time reputation of being quite hard-headed and being quite stubborn and doing what he thinks is, best for him. But agree with Joe and Matt that if he thinks about this, or his handlers, he has to have somebody who can impress upon him that this is not really in his best interest.
Matt, I guess he could save himself if he does enter and wins money, or maybe wins the whole tournament. I think 30,000 goes to the winner in this tournament. He could donate it, or say, hey, I'll split it up with the top 5 guys behind me. I don't know. Is that a silver lining to this story, or it'd be just, hey, Vijay, go play someplace. Hit the range at TPC Sawgrass while these guys are back in the back room there at the Valley Course.
Yeah, it's an interesting thought to donate the money either to a COVID-19 fund or something that goes back to the players on the Corn Ferry Tour. However, bad press is bad press, and I'm not sure even with the charity donation he's going to be able to avoid the press.
Joe, if you had one question for Vijay, if he were on our panel right now, what would it be?
What is wrong with you?
Pretty succinct.
I mean, rethink it. I mean, it's just not. It's not a good look for him, and he doesn't need the money. And I know he's 57 years old. He wants to sharpen his game before he heads out. But
well, the other thing is, if he had to go out to Dallas and compete in a Corn Ferry event, he wouldn't do it, Oscar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct.
He has to go about half a mile to compete, and I'm sure that has about 95% to do with it, right? Can't think of any other reason why he would play in this event. Can you?
One thing I'm thinking is this may be finally the event that lets us figure out what is a Corn Ferry. I don't even know. I knew what the Nike Tour was, but what's a Corn Ferry?
It's going to get a lot of attention.
It's like something on your toe that you'd have cut off,
Well, there you go. Gentlemen, thank you. Let's see what happens now. Vijay, the clock's running. You got a chance to, shall I say, make good. And that'll do it for Teed Off. We'll be back. More of Inside Golf in a moment.
It's an uneasy feeling to have our worlds grind to a halt. All across Montgomery County, from Ambler to Pottstown, Lansdale to Norristown, and everywhere in between. to not visit the places that fill our lives, to see empty parking lots, closed parks, and once bustling streets now quiet. But the signs you'll pass in the windows remind us what we're doing this for. To strengthen our community, we stand together by staying apart and pick each other up. Although we have to pause travel right now, nothing will ever stop the powerful way travel changes us. And like our heroes of the past and our heroes of the present, we'll rise again, we'll fly again, we'll stay and play and thrive again. Because we're Montco strong, and we'll get through this together.
That's going to do it for this week's edition of Inside Golf. I want to thank the people here at Overbrook Golf Club for hosting us today. We'll be back next week when we'll talk to Steve Lapis. He's a member here at Overbrook. He spent 17 years as a head basketball coach of Division I schools, 3 of them, and had quite a run at Villanova. But he loves the game of golf, and we'll find out why. I'm Harry Donahue. Remember, no matter how bad it's going for you out there, don't pick up. We'll see you next time on Inside Golf.
Inside Golf is presented by Destination Montco Golf. 54 courses, 300,000 yards. Check them out at montcogolf.com. By the First Tee of Philadelphia. The First Tee helps young men and women become better golfers, but most important, better people. Get involved. Visit thefirstteephiladelphia.org. By the Golf Association of Philadelphia, GAP, celebrating amateur golf since 1897. By Jersey Man Magazine, it's a Jersey way of life. And by Philly Man Magazine, bringing it to Broad Street. By the Haverford Trust Company, quality is in our DNA. And by Inside Golf's partner since 1998, the Philadelphia Section PGA.